Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So today, as you can see in front of us, we have quite the puzzle to look at. Uh, there isn't a whole lot of information here, is there? So let's jump into this one and see what's going on. So first off, it's called The Specials by Math Pesto. Cool name. I don't think I've done a puzzle by Math Pesto before. Now I want pesto for dinner, or in something for dinner. Thank you very much for that. So let's just look at our rules on this thing and see if we can figure out what exactly is going on. So it's normal Sudoku reply. So every row, every column, and 3 by 3 box will contain the digits 1 through 9 once each. And then we have one rule set here. So every cage has the same sum, and no two cages contain the exact same set of digits. Digits cannot repeat in a cage. So this is like maybe a build your own type of killer cage sort of situation. So essentially what we're saying is that every single one of these cages is going to add up to the same value. We don't know what that is, but we can figure it out, hopefully. It also says that no two cages can contain the same set of digits. So this, if we found out that and this is obviously not going to be the case, but if we found out the value was 6 and this was a 1, 2, 3, this couldn't also be a 1, 2, 3, but it would have to add up to 6. Now you can see where the flaw in that is in terms of that being a viable option, but that is what the rules are stating, and that's it. Took me less than a minute almost to go through that, to say what those were, with even me babbling on like I do sometimes. So anyway, with that said, let's take a look at this thing, see if we can figure out what the heck is going on. I might need to have a pen and paper to look at possible options, so we'll have that handy if necessary. Links in the description below. Let's get started. So we can immediately start ruling out possibilities, because we are value possibilities, because we have 4 cell cages. How many of them? Which means that we're at least to a minimum of 10. So let's. I'm going to start. We've got a minimum of 10. We have 2 cell values, which means we're at a maximum of 17. Now we can very, very quickly reduce that maximum, because we have 1, 2, 3 different 2 cell cages. So we clearly can't use 17 because we'd have to use 9, 8, and all of them. We can't have 16 because we'd have to have the 9, 7 in all of them. We can't do 15 because we'd have to do a 9, 6 and an 8, 7, and we'd have to repeat one of them. Now, can we get into 14s? Again, I'm just taking notes real quick. Don't bother me. I've got my pen here, just so I can remember what's going on. So can we do 14? The answer is no, because we'd have the only 2 options, again, would be 9, 5, and 8, 6. Now, once we get down to a 13, we've got ourselves a possibility, and I'm thinking that 13 is going to be what we must have, because we're going to come up from the bottom here in a second as well. So if we have 13, we can, of course, do, in terms of the 2 cells, we can do a 9, 4, we can do an 8, 5, and we can do a 7, 6. We now have 3 possibilities. So we have our high limit is 14. I almost dropped my pen. I caught it though. If we think about, we have 2, 3, 4 cell cages, we can think of the exact opposite. 10 would be the bare minimum. We obviously can't do 10. 11 would be next online, but we'd only have one way to make 11. So if we have 1, 2, 3, 4 to equal 10, 1, 2, 3, 5 will equal 11. Well, we can't repeat. We can't do 12 either, because there's only now going to be 2 ways to make 12. We could have 1, 2, 3, and 6, or 1, 2, 4, 5. But there's no other way to do it. So the answer to our question is 13. because there's going to be 3 ways to make 13 with a 4-cell grouping, and there's going to be 3 ways to make a 13 with a 2-cell. So let's put those in. So we know 13. So 9, 4, 8, 6, or sorry, 8, 5, 7, 6. The options on our 4 cells are going to be 1, 2, 3. We say we're going to 13, 7. 1, 2, 4, 6. Right? 1, 2, 4. Can I do math? 1, 2, and 4 is 7, plus 6 is 13. What's the other way? 1, 3, 4, 5. Would that be it? 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 1, 3, 4, 5. So those are the options. I should probably write those down because I'll forget about them. 1, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 6, and 1, 2, 4, 5. No. Again, my brain doesn't work. 1, 2, 3, 7. 1, 2, 4, 6. Okay. Now, we have how many 3-cell cages? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, there's going to obviously have to be 6 different ways to make 13 in 3 cells. How do we go through and pick those out? Let's think. So we have to get to 13. So we can't do 1, 2. We have to do 1, 3, 9, 1, 4, 8, 1, 5, 7. Then we can also look at the 2s. So how do we do it with a 2? We can do 2, 3, gets us up to 5, so we need another 8. And then we can do 2, 4, 7, and 2, 5, 6. Should get us there. And then we've already used all our 3s, so it would be right, because maybe there's more than that many options. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 6 different ways. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm at 6 right now. So if we have the 3, 4, 6 will work, and we haven't used that already, we can't go anywhere else from that, I don't think. Because if we do 4, 5, yeah, because if we do 4, 5, it's another 4, and a 4, 6 we just did with the 3. So there's actually 7 different ways to make the, I can't see it over there, to make these cages. So the question's going to be, how do we determine which ones are which? And that's a good question. So we have to think about that. Is there anything, I was going to say, is there any of these groupings that point towards another one that we can rule out options from? I don't know that there is. Because we could think about, because these are L-shaped, there's nothing ever completely pointing at one of these groupings. So, is there any of these groupings that will break this guy? Let's think about that first. So, 139 doesn't, 248 doesn't, 157 doesn't, 238 doesn't, 247 doesn't, 256, no, and 346. So no, there's nothing necessarily that I can see here that will break which one of the other ones is. So, there wasn't any digit, I don't think, in the 3 cells that didn't appear in any of those options. No, there is not. Okay. So how the heck do we determine where we can start paring down options? Or is it some grouping like this long list here where we're going to have serious problems depending on how we make things work? Well, that's a good question. We'd have to go through all of these options to look at it. It's going to be a bit of a bear. If this was a 1, 3, 4, 5, it's got to be the interaction between these guys. So we know, what do we know? We know that each of the options must have a 1 in them. Therefore, this is never a 1 for the 4 sellers. The other digits, there's no given, which means there's one of these is a 1, so this is not a 1. One of these is a 1. One of these will be, and one of these will be. Now, we can't necessarily rule out some of these other ones. Is it possible? Yeah, because it really is. Because even if we take the groupings that are 2 different versions, I mean, the 2 different versions that use 2 of the same digits, like 1, 2, 3, 7 and 1, 2, 4, 6, no matter, I don't think how we put the 1 and the 2 in here would adversely affect this one to some given degree that we can't reconcile. So, and even thinking about these in terms of their groupings, because we know they're digits from 1 through 7 essentially in total, which means that the 8s and the 9s have to go up here, but we can't necessarily force the 8 and the 9 down here, can we? No, we can't, because we could put an 8 or a 9 here, or here, obviously. Is there something with this one and how it interacts? Probably not. No, there isn't. Because no matter what digit we put here, it's going to leave 2 options here. So if we could say this was a 4, let's say, these would just be 8, 5, and 6, 7. Same with if we put like a 5 here, we're at 9, 4, 6, 7, etc., down the line. So, these is a 1. How do we use that? Because again, we can't, because it straddles regions, we can't necessarily make any blanket determinations. We know that none of these are 1, so one of these is. One of these is, so none of these are, is essentially what we're saying. Oh, is that true? One of these is, and one of these is. No, I was just looking at it wrong. None of these. Why did I rule out? None of these can be. I think I just did that incorrectly. It made me start thinking that I did something right, but I didn't. Because this creates an X-wing, but the X-wing jumps between regions. So it just means that there is a 1 out here somewhere. We don't know if it's in this region or this region. Now, it'd be lovely if it was this region, because we could then start placing 1s. The same kind of concept goes over. We know one of these is a 1, but there isn't enough interaction because these could be 1s. Again, if we could rule out these as 1s, that would create the X-wing and force this to be 1 or something along those lines, but this is a nut that needs to be cracked, and I do not have the tools, it appears, at the moment. Is it I mean, I hate to really go into crazy coloring, because I don't think this necessarily helps. Oh, maybe it does. It does. Okay, there we go. Where does this grouping go in this region? Well, we know it can't be the same here because these are all different, and the points here. So these are that grouping. This is a 1. These are not. This is. These are not. These are not. Not. These are yellow. Whatever yellow is, that's it. These are not 1s, which means this is. Okay, we're at least moving in the right direction. Which means these are a 2-3 pair, which means none of these are. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the last digit left over in that grouping. So what does this tell us? Two of these 3 are yellow. We know that. What else does it say? None of these are 1s, so one of these is. Now, have we reduced any of these to a point where we can say anything about them? This one can be a 2 or a 3. So that isn't quite useful enough. We already knew that these had 3 different versions. Okay, now is it possible with the 1s located to work on the diversification of these guys? Because one of the groupings was 1, 2, 3, 7. That cannot be this one, which means this does not have a 7 in it, because that's the only one that has a 7 in it. But because it can't be 1, 2, 3, because this can't be both 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 7, I mean. So this is either the 1, 3, 4, 5, which would mean this is a 3 and this is a 4, 5, or it's a 1, 2, 4, 6, which means this is 2 or 3. Okay. We're getting somewhere. I think this has to be a 9 or an 8 now too, because one of them is going to be used here. Now, okay, we can reduce this guy now that I see this. right? No, we can't. Sorry. 13s. Okay. The 2s and 3s were already out here. Can we think further? So this has to be a 2 or 3. So this cannot be the 1, 2, 3, 7 either, because it would break this. So this does not have the 7, which means this is the 1, 2, 3, 7. So this is our 2, 3 pair. This is our 7. We have no 7 or 6 in this guy. Okay. Okie dokie. We're moving a little bit. So this can't be 2 or 3. Now this one, so these two groupings are the 1, 3, 4, 5 and the 1, 2, 4, 6. Can we differentiate those, or do we need to think deeper into some of these 3 spots now that could be reduced as to what they can be? And I really should keep further track of which ones I've used, because this is the 1, 2, 3, 7, and my red pen is not working. No. It's good enough. So we know there's a 7 in here. So one of these is the 7-6 pair. Don't know which one it is, per se. What else can we... 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, not quite. 2, 3... Okay. Let's start thinking about this guy, or this guy. Because again, this one is, what's the commonality? 4s. So there is a 4 here. That's where we need to go. This can't be a 4, which means it's not a 9, 4 to equal. So these are no longer 5, 8 pairs. So this is a 5, 8 pair. Okay. Now, that forces the 9. And because that's a 5, 8, this is actually the 4, 6, and the 1, 4, 6 goes with a 2. Good. So you're out. This guy is now the 1, 3, 4, 5. So we get a 3, 4, 5, which points up here to get to 8 and 5. This is not 4. Not 4, thank you very much. So this is not 9. And now we might have something we can work with. Is there anything left over here? These are from 6, 7, and 9. Let's just tap that in. There is one of them that could use a 9 on the 3. So let's look in here, because we might be able to start differentiating these two now, and that could start spreading things. Good thing for the old pen and paper, because I could not ever remember this kind of stuff. It would take me hours to go back through every possibility. So this can't have a 9, 4, or a 6 in it. So it could be 1, 5, 7. Could be 2, 3, 8. We'll come back and remove the options, these things in a second here. Can't be 2, 4, 7. Can't be 2, 5, 6. Can't be 3. Okay, so those are the only 2 options. So we've got you 2 good to go. We don't need you anymore. These can't be 8s or 5s. So we said the options again were 1, 5, 7, where the 5 would be up here, or 2, 3, 8, where the 8 would be up here. So this is just 5 or 8. What else? That didn't quite get us there. Maybe this guy will give us some more information, and we can maybe consolidate these down to 2 versions. So this can't have 5, 8, or 7. So it could be 1, 3, 9. Can't be 2, 4, 8. Can't be 1, 5, 7. Can't be 2, 3, 8. Can't be 2, 4, 7. Can't be 2, 5, 6. Ah, shoot. It could be 3, 4, 6. I thought I was into something useful, but it doesn't seem like it. This is not 1. So the two options for this one were 1, 3, 9 and 3, 4, 6. So there's always a 3 in here. Okay. 1, 3, 9, 3, 4, 6. These were, again, 1, 5, 7 and 2, 3, 8. So there's nothing that is similar on those guys. Okay. Let's keep moving, I guess. And see if we've got anything else that works, because we have less information in these guys, though, which is kind of a bit of a pain, but maybe there is something that we're missing in one of these rows or regions that we can start putting in. Like, we know one of these is a 2. That's the only thing there. What about you? Nothing can be discerned there. Okay. This guy, maybe we can look at options. It can't have a 1 in it. It can't be of a 2, 3 grouping. So it's 2, 4, 7, 2, 5, 6, and 3, 4, 6. Again, there's nothing consolidated there, which is annoying. What about you? Because you can't have a 1 or a 2 in it. That's helpful. That's what I needed. This can't have 1s or 2s, because of 2 see all and 1 see all. There's only one thing that had no 1s or 2. That was 3, 4, and 6. This is 3, 4, 6. Now, if we know this is 3, 4, 6, we know a couple of things. This one cannot be 3, 4, 6. I think that was one of the options, was it not? Apologies if I keep looking at this thing, but again, I just can't keep this stuff in mind. So 1, 3, 9 was possible. And the other one was 3, 4, 6. So this is not 3, 4, 6. It is a 1, 3, 9. And if it's a 1, 3, 9, no, that doesn't quite correlate there. What are these digits now? We actually have what these can be, 2, 4, and 6. So I'm going to put those in, because again, we're probably going to start seeing some things that must work here. So we've used 1, 3, 9. We've used 3, 4, 6. That's something. If this is a 3, 4, 6, this has to be 2 and 3. Therefore, this is our 9. These are not 9s. So we get 1s and 3s down here. Let's try to get through. This can't be a 9, so this can't be a 4. Is there anything else there? We know one of these is an 8, but that doesn't help us at the moment. Okay. What else? This one again could be from the 1, 5, 7 and wait, I've already, what was this one? It can't be 1, 3, 9. It could be, can't be 1, 4, 8. Could be 1, 5, 7. And 2, 3, 8. That's what it was. Okay. All right. Let's look here, because this can't have a 1 or a 3 anymore. So all of those are out. It's either 2, 4, 7 or 2, 2, 5, 6, so it has to have a 2, which means this is a 2 and this is a 2. This is quite the way to go about this, but I'm going for it. 4, 6 pair. This is 3. This is not 3. So we have 4, 6 pairs. We could have 4, 6 down here. That 3 means this is not a 3. Was there anyone that had a 1 and a 3? No, it doesn't look like it, right? Okay, keep plugging away here. What do we got next? Was there anything that now is crossing over that would cause problems? We know that one of these is a 9, but that's not super helpful. Okay, I don't see any. So this has a 2 in it. So what are these again? We said there was no 1 or 3 in it. So it's either 2, 4, 7 or 2, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6, 7. These are 8s and 9s. That doesn't quite correlate yet either. Okay. What about these guys? Is there anything that we can say about them or this guy? Or do we need to just look here? This might be a bit of a stretch though at the moment. So let's think further. We have our 3, 4, 6 and our 1, 3, 9. One of these is the 2, 4, 7 or 2, 5, 6, and this was the 1, 5, 7 or 2, 3, 8. Okay. What about you? Because maybe there's something now that we've got these things that are restricting this one. It has either a 6, 7 or a 9 in it. It could be a 1, 5, 7. Two, 4, 7. It cannot be because the 4's here. And then 2, 5, 6 is the other possibility. And we don't quite have overlaps, but there is a 5 in here. Which means that this guy was, again, either the 1, 5, 7 or the 2, 5, 6. This is never a 9. There's a little bit of something. We know there's 5s and 8s up here. Let's just put those in. This one's not a 5. Okay, so our last possible option is this guy. And I don't think he's going to throw a ton at us here because of its orientation. But we can't rule out 2, 4, 8. We can't rule out 1, 5, 7. We can't rule out 2, 3, 8, 2, 4, 7, or 2, 5, 6. So maybe we need to find some more Sudoku here for a second and see if we can reduce our values a little bit. Okay, we know there's a 2 in here. Maybe that's what I need to look at, because none of these are 2s. So whichever one had the 2 is our guy. It's not 2, 4, 8, 1. So the 1, 5, 7 does not work. It was the 2, 3, 8. Good. 8, 5. These are a 2 and a 3, so this is 2 and this is 3. That's 1 and 3. This is not 8 anymore. What are anything else looking? This has to be a 7 because 4, 6, and 7 is all. So this is not 7. This is not 6. That's a 4, 6 pair. What are you? You're just a given digit, which is going to probably set the rest of this. So this is a, well, it didn't. It's a 1. But we do know this is not a 1, and there can't be a 1 in here anymore. So this is a 2, 5, what? 2, 5, 6. So that's now done. And I think we were sharing the possibility of this being a 2, 5, 6. right? Because it had a 2 in it. It couldn't be the 238. It could have been the 247 or the 256. So this is the 247. And that's going to break things up. Okay. 6, 4, 6, 4. This is 5. Therefore, those are not. These are not 6s because of that guy down there. So this is a 7-9 pair, which means this is the 4-6 pairs. That all seems to jive. So let's now try to go about this and figure out what the last few things are. So we've used up our 256, our 346, our 238, our 139, our 247. We should only have one left. What am I missing? Is this 148? Let me go through this option again. 139 is done. 148 is not done. Oh wait, there was more than one. All right, there's one more option than possible cages. So 238 is done. 247 is done. 256 is done, and 346 are done. So this guy, he has a 1 in it, which means these are not 1s, first off. This is not a 1, so one of these is. And it's either 157, which would force this to be a 175, or it's a 148, which I don't know that does anything in terms of its determination. So let's put these information in. So 157, this would be 5, this would be 1, this would be 7. The 148, one of these is the 1. We don't know which one it is. One of these is a 4, and the 8 would go here. So those are the options. Oh, this is not a 6. This is real. Okay, this is not a 6 either. We can do, because we ruled out a 6 here, this is 6. Let's step back into our Sudoku roll, see if we get anything. The 4, 6 here just puts the 6 here. Okay. All right, let's go back through it, because I think we've got everything sorted out. Now it's just trying to figure out the rest of it. And hopefully the note-taking came off okay on recording this for you guys. Obviously, I don't normally do that, but in this case, there's no way I could remember all of those possibilities without putting something down. So if you, this has to be a 3. If you found an issue with it, me doing it this way, just let me know. I'm open to hear if this is something we'd ever want to see go again in this type of way. So this has the 4 on it, so which means it's the 148. So this is the 1, this is the 8. Now we should be just plugging through and seeing what's left over. So let's see, where's a good place to look? We need 5s, don't have anything there. 6 goes here. Good. What are these two then? We need a 4 and a 5, so we can just put those in. What is this? Because this is given. This is an 8, which forces the 9 and the 8. One of these days, we're going to get these guys determined. We'll get there, hopefully, in a minute. One of these is what? 5 and 7? There is not Oh wait, the 5 does. So this is 7 and 5. These are now, well, this is just a given. It is 8. And these are given. They are 7 and 9. So that didn't quite get us anywhere. Can we do anything in the remainder of this? We'd started it, but haven't finished. One of these is a 5. This is an 8. So this is actually just a 5, 9. That appears to work. We've got a, oh, the 4, 6 here tells us this is 7 and 4. We can put that in. We know what these two digits are because of the row. So they have to be 7 and 6. That still doesn't get us what we want. These have to be from 3, 4, and 9. No. Okay. You just want to keep being a pain, that's fine. We'll keep working on you. The 8 here. There we go. 5, 8, 9, 5. These two digits are now just 2 and 7. And these are from 1, 3, and 9, it appears. This is not 1. This is not 3. Okay. All right. Where's the next place here? I'm going to go back to base Sudoku here. It might be a little easier to see what's happening. And hopefully we can see something going on that will break this open a little bit. Although it's not coming through together very well, is it? No, one of these is a 5. That didn't do anything. What about the 6s? That didn't do anything. 7s. We have an X-wing on 7s. Of course not. Why would that work? Okay, what about 8s? There we go. We get an 8. I think that was the last 8 too. Yes, and then how about 9s? Do 9s do anything for us? Again, it appears like the answer is no. So we've got to dig back into this thing and see what it is that's going to get us. Okay, here we go. We had to look here. Once we put the options in, this can no longer be a 6-7 pair. So we get 9, 4, 6, 7. Now we can finalize. 7, 6. This is 9. This is 3. This is not a 3. And what else? This is not a 4 or a 9, so it's a 3. 4, 9, 2, 3. This is 3. And these two have got to get us going now, right? 2 and 4. They do. 2, 4. Then we can go back on the 5s and 4s. This is 5 and 2. That pushes a 5 here, a 1 here, a 7 here. And let's find the last little crossover. 9, 1. This is the 2 and the 7. There we go. And this is the 9 and the 7 and 6 and 4. So that was an interesting puzzle. It certainly took a lot of determination in terms of how these things could be split up to get it going. It did require pen and paper for me. The old pink Post-it note worked out just lovely for this one. So anyway, I hope you all did enjoy this one. Let me know if you have any comments on pen and paper and if it creates an interesting view or not. I would be curious. Like I said, I very rarely use this, but in this case, it didn't seem like there was any way I could keep all of those possibilities going on in my head and be able to still make something that doesn't drag out for hours. This one did go for like 40 minutes, but even with that, so imagine if I didn't put anything down on paper and having to figure all that stuff out. So anyway, stop babbling. Hope y'all enjoyed this one. Let me know down in the comments, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot.